Hello, this is Winston Cunningham. It is October the 27th, 2025. I'd like to talk about intention. We were given free will so that, and also we established karma so that we could see the results of our choices. That's what karma is. But it is the intention that is the catalyst that feeds everything else. A biggest part of the confusion comes in when someone is not aware of why they are doing what they're doing. This is intention. This is focused on a lot at the School of Metaphysics because it is the intention behind an act, not the act itself. It is the intention behind an act that sets into motion what a person will experience. You've heard that what goes around comes around, and Jesus put it, as you give, so you will receive. This is the feedback we get, but it's spurred by our intention, not the action, but the intention behind the action. And I meet a lot of people that I don't think that they're aware of what their current intention is. They're just kind of going along with the crowd and doing what they should do or what they shouldn't do, and they're not really aware of their own existence in real terms. I mean, when you strip away all of the physical part that we produce so in these physical bodies so we could learn, we'd have a way to experience. It's the experience that shows the results of our intention. Experience. Because if I have a need to understand something, it shows up in my experience. Now, it may throw me off because I wasn't expecting it. So it causes me to look deeper and to become aware of what my intention is related to this one particular thing that's getting my attention now. Intention is, remember Jesus said, for one who knows to do good and does it not, to him it is sin. And at the School of Metaphysics, I learned what sin was, not in church. Sin is a mistake where no learning has occurred. We learn from our mistakes. But if we don't learn and we keep practicing the same thing over and over, then that is classified as a sin because there's no learning in it. And Jesus was here to teach the knowing, to present the knowing quality. So it's what you know that matters, and what you are looking to understand, which you will come to know. You first come to an awareness, and you begin to practice this new way until it becomes a part of yourself, until you don't remember the old way. And this is the way we progress. So the highest intention, I did a talk on this, high intention produces the highest results. And Jesus said it very clearly. It for instance, food, it represents knowledge. And he said that it's not what goes into the mouth that defiles a person, it's what comes out. Because what comes out comes from the heart, and that represents what you understand. And Jesus said that very clearly. So if your intention is to understand, then you will be looking deeper into what Jesus said instead of just accepting what other people and what's common belief. Belief just keeps you in a neutral space where you're not really going for it and you're not really chastising people who are. You're just kind of in the middle. You're kind of part of the crowd. And that's the way I saw church when I was growing up in church, is that it seemed that most people, maybe everyone, was simply looking to be satisfied that their own effort was measuring up to the rest of the crowd in church. So I don't remember running across anybody that was really intentional about getting to know who they really are. And this is an idea that grew on me. It came from previous lifetimes. I didn't know that for a while. But, when something just keeps coming at you and nagging you, won't leave you alone, stop and look and determine what your intention is toward that. And when you can make your intention be how you use your attention toward understanding yourself, when that intention is implemented, then you begin to see more of who you are. And each experience provides a little bit more detail. But if you're just in the business of trying to keep up with everyone else, or kind of being part of the group and doing what you expected as part of the group, then you're kind of missing the point, missing the boat. And we're all in the same boat here. So it is becoming aware of your intention is an important step, is an important step in coming to understand truth. Truth is only available through your own experience, provided you have the correct intention, which is to be more like the one that created you. All of that information is embedded in the first level of superconscious mind. So everybody has that. And everybody will feel those urges in different ways to grow in that direction. But usually, unless somebody points out what is occurring, most people remain oblivious to it because they are ignoring the impetus. And everybody gets pulled in the same direction. And if you look at it only through the eyes of the conscious mind, and this is related to the conscious ego, which is in religion they call this the devil. But the conscious ego, which is the physical only way of relating to things, Jesus referred to this as serving mammon. You can't serve God and mammon at the same time. You will choose, and I've come to understand that each thought goes to one or the other. Each thought that we choose. I studied at the School of Metaphysics because I didn't know this beforehand, but in retrospect, it's what I needed so that I could understand why I'm here. Because for a long time, during my 20s, I'd keep being nagged about these things, and I just wanted to be like everybody else. I wanted to just make money and have fun and not be worried about this stuff. But that was not to be, and I would eventually understand that the reason for that is because before I got into this physical body, existing as a soul, I chose to approach understanding myself in a much deeper way and to respond in a deeper way. Before I got into this body, I made that choice. And so, and everyone made their own choice, and they probably don't remember it. And it took me a while before I could, I accept what I chose now, but I didn't know how to do that for a long time. And most people are just ignorant because they're ignoring anything that would cause them to become more aware. And a key part of becoming aware it's the first big step is to become aware of your own intention. When I became aware of my intention to be like everyone else, I just wanted to be left alone. Didn't want to be bothered with all this stuff going on in my mind. That was urging me toward the light. I am urging me in that direction, and I've been able to put a lot of that together, and I'm doing more of that now, and that's part of why I do these talks, is because I have something to give, and who receives it is open to question. But I feel not only compelled, but this is what I chose to do, and this is part of it. There's more, and I know I'll come to that as I progress. And I feel good about doing these talks. It was during my 20s, I think, I began to understand that after I would kind of get rid of, trying to be something that was not going to work, I was not going to be able to be the person that just ignored everything. So once I accepted that, then began to pay attention. And the key word is pay. That's another talk. But it was in my 20s. I can remember in my 20s, early on, I would question myself. I said, well, why didn't my parents give me this? Why didn't they give me that? But it finally dawned on me that, hey, they gave me what they had. If I want something different, I got to go get that. So I chose my parents, and I understand a lot of the reasons why I did, and it would be good for anyone to examine, look at the qualities of each parent, and just consider the idea that you chose them and say, well, if I did, then what was the qualities about my dad and my mom that I needed? And so I can see that pretty clearly from both of them, and I appreciate both of them for giving me that. Gave me a place to come into. See, they created this physical body, but me as a soul chose this body to be in, and chose the parents, the time, all of those things, the male, female. During my time at the School of Metaphysics and afterward, I'd had several past life readings done, past life crossing, family reading, all of which gave me insight as to what was going on with me now. And I would suggest it would be good for anybody to go to the School of Metaphysics and get yourself a past life reading. And my experience tells me that it relates to something that's going on with me right now. If I'm getting a reading now, it'll relate. And so they'll intuitively pick the lifetime that is most relevant to what's going on with me now, because it will relate to what I've brought forward, good, bad, or ugly. They point that out. What I've brought forward to use now, or to deal with now. Because if you keep shoving something on the back burner, eventually you're going to have to pay attention to it. And I guess I spend maybe many lifetimes pushing things away or not dealing with them. As it occurred to me a few weeks ago, and I posted this on Facebook, that procrastination ensures that I'll always have something to do. But I have learned many ways, and I'm learning in other ways, that procrastination does not end the project. It just postpones it. And when we're postponing something, it means that the energy we had available to use toward that is not being used. And so this is stored in the physical body as fat. It's stored otherwise in deeper levels as karma, which is the result of this thinking, which is procrastination. And so I get the results of that thinking. Thoughts are energy. And so describing, in fact, I'll just say this now, I do a soul card reading, which shows in 13 different ways how a person is using energy according to their own soul toward understanding themselves. And it's very valuable. And I've only had a couple of people so far that really paid attention to it. But most of the time when I've done readings, and I've been doing them for a long time, most of the time a person would treat it like a trip of curiosity, like a tarot card reading. But curiosity is not enough. People show up at the School of Metaphysics out of curiosity. If that's all there is, they won't be there very long. Usually when they get to lesson 7, which that's been changed by now, but that's when it was spelled out that you're the one responsible. And there was a giant rush toward the door. Let me get out of here before I have to admit I heard that. And so that gets rid of, a good half the people that start to study. So the higher you go in the lessons, it drops off. And the people that are wanting the whole thing, they'll continue on. And I appreciate the people that have stayed all the way to the doctorate level. I made it to lesson 33, which was at the time, the beginning series ended at lesson 25 and also started the advanced series at lesson 25. And that went on to lesson 60. So I got a ways into the advanced series, and I'm glad that I did. I went through the mind control series, the process of creation, the mind control series, and also astral projection, which was a big thing for me because I've been able to use that in other ways. I won't belabor that here now. But I just mentioned this to point out that, and when I left school, I had mixed emotions about it. But now I understand that I stayed as a student, teacher, and director of a branch school. I stayed long enough to get what I needed to use this lifetime. And so my focus is on getting done what I said I would do this lifetime. So I'm not focused on where I've been so much, where I can be so much, is right now. This is what is occurring with me in these talks and what may result from the talks. I don't know. I know at the first, if you go to my my YouTube channel, is YouTube at The Next Step, Winston Cunningham. And if you look, I write a long paragraph and I state my purpose for the whole thing very clearly. And so I look forward to doing these talks. And it for the purpose of helping someone who needs to hear what I'm saying. I don't know who that is, but each person's soul knows. And it will connect them with what I'm saying if that's what they need to hear. So I don't attach myself to who hears it and who don't. Intention. It's coming to mind now, so I'll just mention it. On YouTube, look for Dr. Daniel Condren's talk on oneness. Describes how we started as one and became the many, and now the many is looking to become the one again. It's like the prodigal son. You go out, get to learn, and then you come back home. And so we're all in a particular place in that process, going out or coming back. And my intention is to understand and to respond to what I said I would do this lifetime. That's the most important thing to me. It would be an ideal to get the whole shooting match this lifetime, but I don't know if that's necessary for, well, I do know. That's not necessary for what I need to accomplish this lifetime. And once I've accomplished what I set out to do this lifetime, then I can be open. And I've planned to be here. I just turned 82 and I'll be here. I plan to be here to 140. And I've got a different focus for each of the 10-year periods. In my 80s, which I'm in now, I'm focused on understanding value. And in my 90s, it will be about completion. In the hundreds, that'll be about adding additional understandings that I may have missed. Or that, and a lot of this relates to pulling understandings from previous lifetimes that I've already earned. And I'm doing a lot of that in the last few years. Okay, now 110, and that next 10 years will be the higher initiation, using what I understand to create on a higher level with understanding. And in the 120s will be about that balance of aggressive and receptive principles, understanding that in a deeper way, because the balance of aggressive and receptive principles is embedded in the first level of superconscious mind, which is the Christ consciousness level. And I've covered that in other ways. But let me just repeat that each of us has everything we need. It's embedded in the first level of superconscious mind. And it is relationship between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, our own soul, that builds the communication or the receptivity needed in order to relate to the superconscious mind. And so, but my 120s will be spent with the balance of aggressive and receptive principles, understanding that better. And 130s that 10-year period will be spent with mastery. Now, Jesus had 12 disciples, including himself, makes 13. 13 is the number of mastery. And that's what I hope. And if I need to plan more, I'll plan more. But it is intention that sets into motion what each person experiences. So I encourage you, if the word intention leaves you kind of curious, then find out. And the way you find out, go to this, wherever you found this talk, go listen to my talk on the question. And asking the proper question is a way of implementing an intention. Doing something, as my teacher pointed out, doing something on purpose, for a purpose, and with a purpose. Intention. What is your intention? I'm Winston Cunningham. Thank you.